Here's Stankie.
What's up, everybody? Another beautiful day in Azeroth, and here's the best enhancement raid builds for Nerubar Palace, going over talent variations as well as how to play it. The main build for raids is currently Stormbringer, with either a Elementalist Storm hybrid build for single target or full Elementalist build for AoE, depending on boss. Starting off with single target, the currently highest performing build is the Storm Elementalist hybrid. So for the build, linked in the description, you pick all the Wind Fury and Stormstrike talents, as well as Lava Lash and Molten Assault, Ice Strike, Hailstorm, and Swirling Maelstrom, which gives us more Maelstrom generation, making Frost Shock and Ice Strike into generators. And we get Ascendance with Static Accumulation and Thorim's Invocation, Elemental Feral Spirits, 2 points in Elemental Assault for more Maelstrom generation, Elemental Blast or Tempest Strikes. Elemental Blast can do more damage if played properly, but the gain is like 3% on Sims. But overall, you will be competitive with Tempest Strikes, and without Elemental Blast, the rotation gets a lot easier. We also get a Naked Primordial Wave for some chonky Lightning Bolt nukes. Buffs your next Lightning Bolt with a 175% damage increase, and slaps out extra Lightning Bolts on Flame Shock targets. Now for the Stormbringer tree, the important talent is Storm Swell over Arc Discharge, since, well, Arc Discharge does nothing on single target, but other than that, it's just utility. So the idea for this build is to simply generate ungodly amount of Maelstrom so we can machine gun out Spenders, which Stormbringer builds very much wants. We generate more wolves due to Witch Doctor's ancestry, and then we shove up spicy Elemental Blasts up there. Well, you know, going over our single target rotation, it's a simple 12-step dance that sounds way more intimidating than it is. So let's go over these steps and then break them down to make it a tad more approachable. If you're at 10 Maelstrom, you always want to cast Tempest if it's available. Wind Strike on cooldown during Ascendance, Feral Spirit on cooldown, Primordial Wave on cooldown, Ascendance on cooldown. Unless you're saving it for something. When all of that is said and done, then you turn to Spenders. If Tempest is available, you want to send it at 6 plus Maelstrom, Elemental Blast with 6 plus Maelstrom and 4 Feral Spirits out. Otherwise, you Lightning Bolt with 5 Maelstrom to fish for refunds. Then you want to Doom Winds, Stormstrike, Ice Strike, Frost Shock with Hailstorm stacks, Flame Shock if it is not active, and then you Lava Lash. How you approach this is simply, if everything is available, all cooldowns and abilities, your full-on Maelstrom Tempest has procced, what the hell do you press? Going down the list, you press Tempest since you're at 10 Maelstrom. Then, since Ascendance isn't active, you pop Feral Spirits, Primordial Wave, then Ascendance into Wind Strike. But overall, I find it a lot easier to break it down into cooldowns, spenders, and generators, because more often than not, you press your cooldowns as soon as they're available. They take priority over pretty much everything. And the prior order for cooldowns is Feral Spirit, Primordial Wave, Ascendance, and then Doom Winds. And when all your cooldowns are on cooldown, you turn to spenders and generators. So for spenders, Tempest has the highest priority at 6 stacks. So if Tempest is available and you have 6 Maelstrom, you send it. If Tempest isn't available, you instead send Elemental Blast, but only if you have 4 wolves. If you don't, you spam Lightning Bolt instead, but at 5 Maelstrom. Now if you play Tempest Strikes instead of Elemental Blast, you skip the Elemental Blast and just cast Tempest if available, otherwise Lightning Bolt. Both the Lightning Bolt and Tempest with this build has a chance to generate 3 Maelstrom or refund all Maelstrom spent. Now, if you don't have enough Maelstrom to cast a spender, you turn your focus to generators instead. Which are Stormstrike, Ice Strike, Frost Shock, and Lava Lash in that order. Stormstrike has a chance to proc Awakening Storm, which after 3 procs gives you a Tempest, which is why it's the most important generator. Ice Strike buffs your next Frost Shock, so it becomes a tiny nuke that also AoEs. And Lava Lash is mostly here as a filler and to refresh Flame Shock, although it is not a big deal if Flame Shock drops. So the TLDR, need Maelstrom, press one of these, have Maelstrom, spend on one of these, and press cooldowns. Now as far as the opener for this goes, it's a few steps, but pretty straightforward. Oh, as you're running to boss, Primordial Wave into Feral Spirits, into Ascendance, into Windstrike, into Doom Winds, into Windstrike, and then Elemental Blast. Goal here is to pop all cooldowns and then weave Windstrikes in between every other global. So Windstrike, Doom Winds, Windstrike, Elemental Blast, Windstrike, Lightning Bolt, Windstrike, Tempest, etc, etc. With procs and proper play, you're often able to get like 6 to 8 wolves Ascendance, which is a great window to Elemental Blast in. Again, you can just play Tempest Strikes and not bother with Elemental Blast without losing a lot of damage. They are very close. Now going over to AoE, you'll sport a full Elementalist build instead, which pretty much plays like the M+ enhancement build right now, but you go Ice Strike and Frost Shock over Fire Nova, as it is far superior for boss damage versus Fire Nova. So for this build, you go full Lava Lash route over Wind Fury Stormstrike Talons with Crash Lightning and Crashing Storm for more AoE damage, Maelstrom generation, and more Chain Lightning targets. And damage! Elemental Blast or Tempest Strike, same thing with this build, both works, but Elemental Blast is slightly better if played properly. Then full Ascendance Tree, Elemental Feral Spirits, a Naked Primordial Wave, both for boss damage but also AoE when there's ads. Take Silken Court for example, 5+ targets when the ads are out that you can nuke with Primordial Wave Lightning Bolts, and it also applies Lightning Rod, which makes them take 15% of all your spender damage. Translation: a lot of damn! Now for the Aoe Prio List, same rule applies here, break it down in cooldowns, spenders, and generators. Tempest at 10 Maelstrom, Windstrike on cooldown during Ascendance, Primordial Wave, Flame Shock if it's not active, Lava Lash to spread Flame Shock if there's multiple targets, Feral Spirits, Ascendance, make sure it's primed for Chain Lightning for AoE or Lightning Bolt for single target if there are no ads. And for spenders on AoE, Tempest if 5 Maelstrom, Elemental Blast if 6, and 4 wolves out, otherwise Chain Lightning with 5 Maelstrom. And if you're going for full AoE, you ignore Elemental Blast. Crash Lightning if the buff is inactive, Lava Lash and tab target to apply Lashing Flame for the more Flame Shock damage on those targets, Ice Strike, Frost Shock with Hailstorm stacks that you get from spending, Stormstrike, Crash Lightning. So pretty much you pop your cooldowns, need Maelstrom, Lava Lash, Ice Strike, Frost Shock, Stormstrike, have Maelstrom, Tempest if available, otherwise Chain Lightning, or Elemental Blast with 4 wolves if you're going for boss damage. There is a small optimization you can do if you want to try hard, which is if you haven't cast Stormstrike or Lightning Bolt in the last 3 globals, you want to prio casting a Stormstrike. This is just to optimize proc chance for Awakening Storm to give you more Tempests, but it is a niche optimization that might bring more headache than DPS only really care about it for single target when ads are dead. Now, most raid fights in Nerubar is single target with ads spawning, which means whenever there aren't ads, you'll swap to doing single target rotation. So Elemental Blast, Lightning Bolt, Snow Crash Lightning, etc, etc. So with that in mind, what do you play for each fight? For Heroic, my suggestions are full single target hybrid build for Olgrax, Bloodbound, Sikrin, Rashanan, Nexus Princess, and Queen Ansric. Then you go for AoE build on Brood Twister. But if ads die instantly, you're actually better off with Storm Hybrid here as well. Now on Mythic, you want to go full single target hybrid build for Bloodbound, Sikrin, Rashanan, Nexus Princess, and Queen. And then full AoE on Olgrax and Brood Twister. However, you can play full hybrid for Olgrax as well, with great success. For all these single target fights, you can also play Elementalist single target without lagging behind a hybrid build. So again, if you prefer that rotation playstyle overall, then it's not an issue to play. And that's pretty much it for this guide. Now, if you have any questions at all, hit me up in the comments. You can also become a patron, Twitch sub, or YouTube member. If you'd like to help support my work, you get access to the Stankie Gaming Discord, which is the fastest way to get a hold of me, where you can get help with anything enhancement or PvE related. You can also get shoutouts and videos, among other things. Don't forget the usual stuff, like, comment, subscribe, slap that notification bell. Thank you all for watching. I will see you next time.